$1,025.68. Now you don't have to watch the rest of the video. But if you're curious on how I made that, I'm going to explain everything that I did to make that amount of money step by step. I work full time, so these are all things that I've done outside of work. Obviously, you can't live off of just doing side hustles, but I think an extra $1,000 would be beneficial to people of all income levels. So, $220 was from user testing. So I talked about user testing on my channel before. If you don't know what it is or you haven't seen my other videos, it's basically a platform where you speak out loud as you go through different websites and prototypes of websites and apps. You're basically recording yourself talking and seeing what the user experience is like on different websites and apps that companies are paying you to try out. The pay, I think, is incredibly reasonable. It pays $10 for every normal session. So a normal session is unmoderated, so you're just recording yourself talking on the computer, and it takes usually around 10 minutes. Sometimes it's less. Very rarely it goes on beyond that, but it's usually around 10 minutes. So it's about $1 a minute, which is $60 an hour if you average it out. It's a pretty good rate of pay. They also have live conversations that go on for a longer period of time. So a half hour, 30 minutes, they'll pay you $30. For an hour-long interview, it'll be $60. And basically you're just talking to the actual customer, and you do the same thing that you would have done on the unmoderated test, but you do it in front of them so they can ask you questions and like dig a little bit more deeper into what works and what doesn't. And usually I actually make a lot more money on user testing, but on June 14th, for whatever reason, I couldn't accept any tests, and there was some sort of glitch with my account, and support took a very long time to resolve that glitch. And I couldn't accept another test until July 2nd. So for the entire second half of June, I couldn't do any user testing, which was unfortunate because it probably is the most money I make from any other side hustle. So it was cut in half prematurely. Not a big deal. I don't depend on this money, so it's just all kind of just extra. So it wasn't life-shattering for me, but I think that's a really prime example on why you should never rely on these type of apps or gigs or side hustles or whatever for your actual income, because it's so unpredictable and you don't have any rights as an employee. So for the next one, it was cloud research. I made $173. So cloud research is another platform that I talk about a lot on this channel. You're doing surveys. They're unmoderated. You don't have to speak out loud or anything, so you can listen to music or watch Netflix or whatever. Maybe not watch Netflix, I shouldn't condone that. But you can just take these surveys, and they're usually kind of interesting. It's universities for the most part that are doing like psychological studies, and like sometimes it's also companies that are trying to see like what ads work the best and what you respond best to. But I think the studies are genuinely interesting, so it's kind of fun in a way. And they don't pay that much per survey. They're usually like 50 cents or $1 for most of them, but they take 1 minute or 2 minutes to do, so I think it's worth your time. But I made $173 in June from it, so I definitely like having that around, and I can do it really anywhere also, which is a huge plus. I made $315.26 from DoorDash. You obviously know what DoorDash is. I talk about it a lot on this channel. I make a lot of videos of me actually doing DoorDash. I enjoy doing DoorDash. I think it's fun if you have any free time where you want to just drive around and kind of explore your area, check out some new restaurants, and explore some neighborhoods you otherwise wouldn't normally go down. I think DoorDash is a really great thing. Now, you need to have a car that has a pretty decent miles per gallon rate. If you are driving an F-150, you're probably not going to want to do DoorDash or Uber Eats or any gig that involves driving like that for low amounts of pay. I drive a Prius, so it really doesn't matter much to me. I only take orders that pay $1 per mile, so I never really get screwed over in that regard. I always profit a pretty decent amount, even after I have to pay for gas and oil changes and whatever. Give it a shot. It's probably a little bit more fun than you might imagine if you've never done it before. Next is Uber Eats. Virtually the same thing as DoorDash. I made $135.12. I only use Uber Eats when DoorDash is slow because they send me orders that I have to decline more of because they go way out there. I get orders that are 20 miles away sometimes. It makes absolutely no sense. So I definitely prefer DoorDash. but I use Uber Eats as like a backup basically. So I made $135.12 from that. I made $113 from Userlytics. Userlytics is basically user testing. It's another platform like that. I usually don't make that much on Userlytics. This was kind of an odd month for it, but I was on the platform and refreshing the page a lot more because I couldn't do user testing due to that glitch. And I had a live conversation on Userlytics, which pay $50, and then the rest were $10 surveys. Next up is Google Opinions. I made $14 from Google Opinions in June. So Google Opinions is basically an app that you have on your phone, and you give it permission to have all of your data, and in exchange you can sometimes take a 1 or 2 question survey randomly when they send you a notification for it. The surveys pay from 10 cents to 80 cents, then every $2 it automatically goes into your PayPal. I did enough of those to make $14. It takes no time out of your day. Whenever I get the notification, I just do them. If you don't have the app, it's just Google Opinions. I would recommend you download it. I made $20 from OnePulse. OnePulse is kind of similar. It's also very brief surveys that pay pennies. I think it starts at 10 cents. I get paid 18 cents per survey now, and the more you do them, the more you get paid. It has a max payout of $20 a month, so I always make $20 every month. I started doing it in April. I've cashed out every single month since then. I don't spend much time at all on it. Whenever I get a notification to do a OnePulse survey, I just do it. Next up is Shipt. I made $14.68 on Shipt. I did a single order of Shipt because I had nothing to do that night. I used to do Shipt a lot more. About 3 years ago, I did Shipt pretty consistently, but I just don't really have the time to do it now. Shipt is like Instacart if you weren't aware. You're doing grocery shopping for people. I sold a puzzle for $20.52. I have to make another video about this, but this is more of what you might think about when people talk about side hustles. I manufactured a puzzle of a local landmark where I live, and I sold them online and to apartment complexes and local stores. The website that I used to sell it kind of doubles as a news blog. I haven't posted on it since January, and I announced that I was not going to be active on it anymore after running it for a year and a half. But the puzzle page still shows up on Google. If you Google my town's name and puzzle, it's the first result, and I randomly get sales for it, and I just drive to the person's house that they buy it from and drop it off, so I don't have to pay for shipping or anything. And I randomly got a puzzle sale in June, so that's where that $20 came from. And I already broke even on my shipment from getting them produced, so I just count everything as profit basically for it. And that's everything. That is all of the side hustles that I did in June. I'm gonna do this every month. I think it's kind of interesting, and I love being transparent with you guys. I know you guys really like the authenticity. I will continue sharing all of these amounts. I hope that you find them useful, and then you know which ones to prioritize or which ones will actually make you money. I wish I knew how much time I spent on each of them. Maybe that's a metric I'll start tracking for next month, because obviously that is important to know. But I do work a 9-to-5 job, 40 hours a week, so all of this is outside of that, and I still have a pretty decent amount of time to do things that I actually enjoy doing, so it's not like all I'm doing is working. I'll leave links in the descriptions on all the apps and websites that I use and how to sign up for them. Subscribe for next month's totals.